All right. All right, I'm streaming. You want to close that? Thank you. Okay, come here. All right, say hi, stream. Say hi, stream. Good job. All right. Go to mommy. All right. Thanks, Jesse. Snow for the Northeast. Not much in the short term. Maybe some good inner New England snow here at the end of the week. A little bit of a zonal flow setting up. It's not going to be much snow for anyone except for the mountains out west. If we take a look, I mean, we can take a look at our 12Z snow here. No, I don't think this is, I'm not fully buying that we're just going to have all the snow above that line. I don't fully buy this at all. Because we have a couple more shots of cold air. So we'll probably get some snow. Probably somewhere up here before the end of December again. But the Euro wants to keep everything up in Canada. Let's take a look at the GFS. GFS tilts some of that snow out there. Right through here. Let's take a look at the European AI. European AI looks just like the Euro, really. I'm going to put some more snow out there towards the mid-Atlantic New England coast. Tons and tons of snow for the Northwest. Kind of just a boring pattern, setting up for a little bit. We get a warm-up right here. A little bit of a warm-up, Pacific moisture, Pacific heat. This is going to be a quick cool down at the end of this week, Thursday, Friday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. This is going to be, we'll see what happens with this. This could always amplify and pull more snow on the back end than what the models think right now. This is a European. Activates a lot of lake effect snow, but really not much behind the system. This is going to bring with it a severe threat, though. Let's take a look at the GFS on this end of the week. You see the GFS pulls a lot of, actually tries to get more moisture on the back end of this system. Not just lake effect, actual snow. Interesting what's going on here as well. K-index, this is just going to show you the chances of us getting some severe weather. Pretty decent through portions of the Ohio Valley, Dixie Alley, and Southeast. Right in there for severe weather. Probably Thursday, Friday. Can you check Cincinnati? Shh, for what? Katie, what's going on? I appreciate you. I muted them. Cincinnati for what? Moving ahead here, Mississippi. We'll see. Let me actually go over to pivotal weather. Well, no, I can do. We don't have. Well, do we have our roof? No, we don't. We won't have our Rufus in yet. Let me see. Cape. Oh, we're starting to get it in. Supercell composite. We may have it this evening. Helicity. Yeah, we may have it this evening. Surface Cape. Yeah, I'd say we'll be able to see, at least on the Rufus ahead. Let's look at the NAM 12K. 12Z is loading. Cape. Let's go out to Thursday. Yeah, we need to wait. We need to wait. The Rufus will be loaded in by the end of the day. So we can actually see kind of on a short to moderate range what's happening in here with severe weather Thursday. Models don't totally agree with Christmas Day. You made a post about that this morning. Sorry, no video. It's going to be a very busy week for me and in my other job. It's a big crunch time this week because we're not working next week, or at least most people aren't. So I'm just stretched thin with time. So I'll put out a video updating all this stuff tomorrow, but I wanted to at least get on live to go over this stuff. So take a look at what's happening. There's not much of an agreement on Christmas at all. You go and you look at the euro and you go to Christmas Day. That's the euro on Christmas Day. Do you guys know what those reds are? The GFS does not think this, by the way. There's not a model grid. The GFS thinks it's going to be cold out east on Christmas. Yo, bro, why is the weather going up and down? That's what the weather's done for all of existence. We have ridges and we have troughs, and they alternate. It's very normal. We were actually stuck in a very cold pattern for quite a while out east. That's actually more abnormal. It's more normal to see the kind of push and pull. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get, I'm like lost my voice. Sometimes you get a jet stream pattern that kind of locks in cold or locks in warm. Or locks in cold, locks in warmth in an area for longer. Look, you go to the GFS on Christmas. There it is. Christmas Day. We're kind of below average everywhere out here. But, and we're baking in the west. But you go to the euro. And again, that's Christmas Day. So we can dive into this, and I can tell you kind of what I think is going to happen. Let's take a look at our ensembles. Let's take a look at our teleconnections, actually, because I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen on Christmas just as much as you guys. And I've had an idea of it for a while. That's why I made my Christmas video. But I'll show you. Or my Christmas forecast. Let me get this set up here. All right, so let's look at our ensembles. Our ensembles are important because it shows us a lot of different runs. So let's look at, well, okay, we'll go to our European weekly. Arctic oscillation. You know, I don't know. If you were to believe this, a negative AO around Christmas time, it's pretty good news. Our control is all over the place here. I don't even want to pay attention. Like, this is not what's going to happen most likely. You just don't get swings like this. I'd pay attention to the mean. And the mean is dropping. The mean is trending negative over a long period of time, though. Eastern Pacific oscillation. Like, look what's happening with our oscillations. Don't pay attention to that. Yeah, the euro is just locked in on this kind of. That's why we have the mean, though, so you can kind of not pay attention to that nonsense. So you look at the mean and the EPO. The mean's going negative. For a little bit, we got our NAO going negative, our Arctic oscillation going negative, and then you got our Pacific, our PNA trending positive. So kind of a sign of actually back into a colder pattern, but probably as we enter into January. The question is, and let's go to our European ensemble here, just out through the 25th. Arctic oscillation just out through the 25th. We're getting back towards neutral to negative. It's a good sign for Christmas. Our EPO drops very negative. Well, actually, it doesn't drop very negative. It just drops off, gets into the negatives as we approach Christmas as well. But then we could get that positive EPO push right before Christmas. So kind of unsure of what our EPO wants to do there. Good sign here as we approach Christmas that our NAO wants to drop off and go negative. Again, that's blocking over Greenland. That can trap some cold air in the east and promote some winter storms out east. So I would say this is the best sign I've seen yet. European ensemble before Christmas to have a pretty negative NAO. Not very negative, but it's not neutral. And then, but here's the issue. You got a negative PNA as well. You kind of want a positive PNA there. WPO staying quite negative. Not really surprised. Lots of cold air that's going to be available to sink into the states from up north. We just need the mechanism to get the cold air down there. I was like, why can't I hear myself? It's because that was off. Okay. Kimberly, Gemini, I appreciate you guys. All right, let's go back here. Let me switch this up. Okay, so I'm going to show you our European ensemble, and you'll. This is actually what I should have shown in the first place. All right. Here's our European ensemble temperature anomalies. So the European's pretty confident here on the heat. The European is not confident out here once you get into these lighter colors of reds and blues, because this is not a control run. These are anomalies. So let me look at the GFS ensemble as well. Interesting, the GFS ensemble actually has more confidence in heat out east, yet the deterministic control run has it quite cold out east. Snow for New York again. Yeah, I think we'll have a good chance of getting snow back in the Mid-Atlantic and New England before December's over, even though the models don't reflect it. More than likely, no white Christmas. You're saying more than likely on something that's 240 hours away, so I wouldn't say more than likely. You have here's your American model. Your American model and Euro have zero agreement, so I'm not going to speak on anything with complete confidence when you have a zero agreement in the global models. So let's look at our Canadian as well. Our Canadian looks like, is this a push of cold air right there? Okay, so our Canadian's going to be leaning towards our GFS with cold air east. We'll see if this is pushing down at the end. This is the end of the run. I can't get into Christmas morning yet. This is still Christmas Eve evening at the end of this Canadian run. So here's what's happening, guys. Northern Hemisphere. Let's go into our. I'll go Euro. I'll actually do GFS here. Let's go back to, okay, we'll go to the 6Z. 500 millibar height anomaly. So our jet stream is still, our tropospheric polar jet is still kind of quite unstable. You can see all of these, you can see all the variability in the jet stream. And that's why we're probably going to have some severe weather, like I said, southeast, Dixie Alley, Ohio Valley, as we get into Thursday, Friday. We get a little bit of a zonal flow. Here it is. This is just the really annoying weather where it's dry and it's above average for a lot of people. But you've got major energy up here in Canada and up here in the Northwest that wants to collapse back down into the States. And the European ensemble thinks we're going to be transitioning back into a negative NAO. Now, if that happens, with all of this cold pooling we have up here to our northwest, that air is going to make its way into the southeast. So the issue is right now is you've got your global models in complete disagreement. And so you've got to just compare them and watch the trends and try to make up your own mind. I think it's going to get cold out east again right before Christmas, only because of all the cold pooling and the sign from the European ensemble with the negative NAO. It's really hard to make a judgment, though, when what's going on, Emmanuel? It's really hard to make a judgment, though, when there's this much disagreement. What there's not disagreement on, though, is potential severe weather threat this Thursday and Friday. Because our models see this right here. Yeah, some good snow out east. Let's see what our snowfall was. Let's go to the Mid-Atlantic. 3-day. Here we go. We'll go 5-day. There you go. Philly got close. Philly got somewhere between 5 to 6 inches. New York City, what do you guys get? About 3 inches. Baltimore, a couple inches. DC looks like they got kind of screwed. But I got an inch. Jersey, not bad. Long Island, I actually think underperformed. I was really thinking Long Island could get 5+. Think right? How much you guys get on Long Island? I mean, what we're seeing here is somewhere between 2 to 4 inches out there, and I thought you guys were easily going to surpass 5. So I'd call Long Island an underperformance. You feel like this is wrong? Long Island got 5 inches. All right, we'll check it. We'll check another source maybe. Let's see. We can check other sources. Let's see. All right, let's check this one. Yeah, look at that. Long Island did do pretty good. So this probably just still needs to update, but you can see the issue here. It's kind of, the reporting on Weatherbell here is kind of messed up. You see all that white? There's gaps in this. Looks like Long Island did do pretty good. Okay, so this is more of what I expected. Okay, good. Well, that's why we have multiple ways to look at this stuff. This is more of what I expected from Long Island. So clearly 5+ was right. Some of these areas 8.5. Yeah, this is. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. New York City, about 3.5. So that was correct. Let's see Philly on here. Oh my gosh, there's too much going on my screen. 1 second, guys. Why? Okay, I can't even find Philly because all these. Philly. There we are. Okay. Philly, yeah, I mean, okay, so it's right about these areas. Philly about 5 to 6 inches. It's just wrong about Long Island, but obviously there's an issue with the reporting there on Weatherbell. Holy smokes, though. Long Island did overperform. Very nice, very nice. There's some areas on Long Island that are reporting 8.5 inches. That's wild. You guys have not seen that. Hey, for my people on Long Island, when's the last time you saw that much snow? Honestly, in one storm. 2019? I would totally believe you. You're probably telling the truth. I mean, it's been a while. Yeah. I measured 5 inches of snow in Ohio from it. Nice, nice, nice. 2 years? Really? You guys had a storm that dropped up to 8.5 inches in Long Island 2 years ago? I don't think I lived in Philly, and the snow in the mid-Atlantic, New England coast was atrocious last year and the year before. Maybe. I'd assume it was much longer than 2 years, but I could be wrong. I'm here. I want to look at some more of these snow totals, guys. What did Boston end up with? Okay, Boston an inch. Not bad. I mean, Boston, there was a chance you guys were going to completely miss out. Look at the snow along the Jersey coast, though. Wow. 7 inches. 6 inches. Crazy. Southern Jersey got a little bit screwed, but, still good. I mean, 2 to 3 inches of accumulation. Pittsburgh, not bad. 6 to 8 inches scattered through Pittsburgh. That's pretty good. Cleveland did all right. Look at this. 23 inches out here. Is that accurate? Holy smokes. I mean, the real winner, Long Island out through North Jersey. I would say it's a winner in Philly to get 5 to 6 inches there. You all overperformed slightly because Philly was still projected 3 to 4. 3 to 4.5. So a good overperformance by most people, I'd say. So, yeah. Nice job. Fantastic work, guys. You love to see it. I'm confident we're going to get more snow out there before the end of December. That's probably crazy of me to say because you look ahead here, guys, and you're like, why is he saying we're going to get more snow out there? Look at this heat and rain. Just a cold pooling up in Western Canada. I think it's going to get triggered, and it's going to drop before the end of December, and it's going to put big snow back out there towards the east. I've seen this happen before. Gemini, GG, I appreciate you guys. Is there any more snow for JCNJ? I'm guessing that's somewhere in New Jersey. But yeah, that's what I just talked about. I think they'll get more snow out there. What does January hold in store for the Mid-Atlantic? Interesting. Do you guys want to... Okay, let's do a little bit of an outlook here. Let's take a look at some stuff. Okay. We'll have fun and look at our European weeklies here. Let's look at 46-day snowfall. 32-day snowfall. Through January 15th, this is where the Euro thinks there's going to... This is where the Euro likes snow. Notice the tilt again, back out to the east towards the Mid-Atlantic. So I promise you, because the Euro doesn't see much snow back out here over the next 2 weeks, this is the European saying we're going to have a very snowy kind of potentially East Coast through the first 2 weeks of January, which I think is believable. Let's take a look at our heights. North America. Okay, let's actually do 7-day. Okay. So, interesting. The troughing is and I never get the Euro with this. The troughing is actually out east. But you can see you have the lower heights focused out west. This is kind of how you want your jet stream to be oriented, though, in the beginning of January. We'll do 30-day. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why. I don't understand why they have a jet stream orientation like this, and then they have the average of higher heights out here. It's probably because what's happening over the next 2 weeks. Temperature. The Euro thinks we're going to absolutely just cook across the east all of January. Not going to happen. Not very likely to happen. Let's take a look. We'll go to our GEFS Extended. Why do I have a feeling the GFS is going to see this too? Yeah, these models are seeing the trends over the next week and a half, and they're just baking the East all through January. Let's take a look. CFS, even though I don't like the CFS. The CFS is actually probably seeing this more accurately. Getting into early January. Interesting. The opposite of a southeastern ridge. Let me actually go to let me go to the European control. 1 second, guys. I haven't looked at some of these in a while. So here's the Euro. For the this would be December 31st to January 7th. And you look at the European control, and it has us very cold out east. Yet you look at the European weeklies anomaly, and it's baking here. So it's in disagreement with itself. And then this would be interesting. Don't pay attention this far out, but if we had this type of cold pushing in at the end of January, this would be like historic because, on average in the Northern Hemisphere, January 20th is the coldest day of the year. So if you want some records broken and some crazy snow down south, you want a big push of cold air like this at the end of January. That's what happened. Was it? God, time flies. Was it last year when we got a foot of snow down there along the Gulf? All right, give me 1 second, guys, and then I'm gonna do a speed round, answer a bunch of questions. Give me 1 second. Un momento. Hello. All right. I'm back. Let's answer this question. Foot of snow along the Gulf was actually January of... Oh, yeah. True. Why is it so cold in the South right now? How cold is it in the South right now? Let's take a look. How cold is it down there? It's cold, you say? It's cold, you say? Let's take a look. All right. Oh, it is cold down there, isn't it? Holy smokes. What do you mean? It's 70 degrees in Miami. It's not cold in the South. What do you mean? No, yeah, it's cold. Yep. Big trough. Big trophy boy. Float it down there. Brought you some cold air. Ooh, we're probably breaking some records right now. Let me double check this. Hold up. Probably breaking some records. Minimum low. We are, in fact. Actually, this is going to be for tomorrow. Let's go back. Tuesday. Okay. We're breaking some records for lows. A little bit out in the mid-Atlantic. Tennessee breaking some records. Mississippi. North Carolina. Ooh. Record high lows this Friday. This is all record high lows. I got to switch screens again for you guys. That's going to be hot. Let's look at our record max temp daily records. Okay, you guys want to see when you're going to break some temperature records? So you're actually breaking this is a daily max high low temperature. Does that make sense? Meaning your meaning let me go out here, mid-Atlantic. Your high temperature here through portions of Maryland and northeastern wow, look at that. Your high's 30 degrees. That's an all-time low for a high for this time of year. Nice job. Congratulations. But that's going to be switched up real quick. Let's push out a little bit. Okay, not much happening there. Let's take a look at our daily lows. So this is an all-time high low temperature. Man, nothing too exciting happening record-wise. We are breaking some temperature records currently, though, down in the South. So, and the West is absolutely shattering records. Look at this. These are all record high low temperatures. These are all record high low temperatures across the West. And then again, you get into Friday. These are all record high low temperatures in the Northeast. These are all records that we could be breaking on Friday. Is Christmas going to be warm in North Carolina? And that's what I've been that's what I was talking about in the beginning of the stream. It's going to be a close call. Listen, the GFS model right now thinks it's going to be cold out east on Christmas. Here's the GFS on Christmas Day. These are cold anomalies. Okay? The Euro thinks the complete opposite. I'm leaning more towards the GFS. There's, again, lots of cold pulling up in the Northwest. Michaela, I appreciate you. Hey, Ollie. Snow in Maryland. We could get some more before December's over. Yeah, Ollie, I think Christmas for you is going to be warm regardless. The only confidence I have right now, well, I have some confidence in some other things, but the warmth in the central and southern plains, I think, is going to be pretty prominent. Pushing through Christmas. Well, who knows? You know, this trough right here pushes in through the northern Rockies instead of the northern plains. Then suddenly you're probably cold on Christmas. I just don't see it. I just don't see that happening, unfortunately. Oh, they don't like the cold? Okay. Well, that's good then. Do you think Georgia will see snow this winter? Georgia has already seen snow this winter. Far northeastern Georgia at elevation. Specifically central Georgia. I don't know if it's not if there's not in the immediate forecast. I mean, La Nina years have very variable jet streams, so you always have a chance. You're more likely to see snow in Georgia in an El Nino. So I mean, I'd say central Georgia probably has somewhere around a 20 to 25% chance. That's what I'd give it to see snow this winter. I don't think it's unbelievably hard to get snow in central Georgia this winter, but you'd like an El Nino pattern, which we're probably going to be in an El Nino next winter, by the way, most likely. Chances are pretty high of that. Appreciate the gifts, guys. Thank you for the follows. Any updates? Chances for a white Christmas in Chicago? Yeah. I mean, on the models, everything looks dry through Christmas. I mean, snow-wise, really not seeing much flying through the air. But I'm not really bought into this whole consistent zonal flow. With zero snow chances over the next 10 to 14 days. Again, you look at North America and what's happening with our temperature anomalies. And you just see consistent cold pooling and energy up here. And this is going to collapse. It's going to collapse eventually. So, look at the end of this run, guys. This is hilarious. Look at the end of this run. This is 360 hours out. Don't worry. This isn't, the odds of that happening aren't very likely. But that cold air is going to collapse. So, and with it, it's going to bring a lot of moisture. You're obviously going to get a lot of opposite air boundaries running into each other. So, but there's just not much to talk about, in the next 7 to 10 days on the models right now, other than obviously we have that severe weather potential. End of this week. That could stretch really from eastern Texas all the way up through upstate New York. Any more coming anytime soon for Pittsburgh? Potentially light. I'm watching this right here. On the Euro, you don't get much snow behind it. On the GFS, there's more moisture back here. That's the Euro. This is the GFS. You see how there's a lot more moisture behind the system? That would be okay snow for Pittsburgh. Friday, Thursday, and probably Friday. But again, we need some model agreement. Let's get a little bit closer. You bet all the snow in southern Iowa is gone by the end of the week. Yeah, some of these temperatures, we're gonna get a little bit of snow melt. I mean, how warm is it gonna get in Iowa? Let's see. A little bit of a warm up here. You get cold air again, a little bit of a warm up. I mean, it's not crazy over the next week or 6 days. Temperatures aren't that crazy in Iowa. Let's take a look at central U.S. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you guys maybe touch 40 there. 43. I mean, this isn't going to be like rapid snow melt. At least over the next 6 days. Nothing crazy. Colorado's been 20 plus degrees above average all of December. Oh, I know it has. And I said it was going to be. I said the West was going to bake for the majority of December. I can actually show you. No, you guys are getting some cold air out there in a little bit. Let's take a look at temperatures. Departure from normal temperature. Since first of the month. All right. I'm going to switch this over here so we can see a little bit better. So here you go. Can always turn your phone sideways on TikTok. Here's what it's been like for the month of December through December 14th. So almost half of the month. Very cold out east, very warm out west. Kind of what we all expected to happen. And this is going to last a tiny bit longer. I mean, yeah, Colorado's been running on average 5 to 10 degrees above average the entire month of December. But you guys think it's bad there. Look it up here. Look at western Montana. Look at Idaho. Look at Wyoming. I mean, the Pacific Northwest as well. Colorado hasn't had it as bad as the states to the west and north of them, who are running 10 to 15 degrees above average. I wonder, let's push back 30 days. Look at that. Pushing back 30 days, look at where all the cold air has been sitting. And look at the Rockies. Atrocious start to winter. I mean, yeah, look at central Illinois. Running 3 to 6 degrees below average over the last 30 days. Been cold. The month of December is going to, on average, even with this little warmth we have pushing in, it's still on average. When we look at this at the end of December, it's still going to have been a much colder east. Temperature difference between today and yesterday is crazy. Well, here, let me. What's our high today? 20 something? 29, 41 tomorrow. I don't know if we get up to 41 tomorrow, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I don't know if we get up to 41. I think we get up to like 37 or something tomorrow. I think it's being a little bit aggressive with the heat in Minneapolis tomorrow. I don't think we get up to 41. Maybe we do. We'll get a little bit of snow melt. There isn't winter here anymore. I don't know where you are. Out west. Will there be a flip? There's always inevitably a flip. The question is, when is it? Now, there was one winter, or was one or two winters in the last 100 years where you basically had your jet stream lock in cold air out east the entire winter. But that's like extremely rare. You always basically get a flip and you get tons of cold air and snow out west. Although in the Rockies, sometimes warmth isn't too bad for you once you get into deep winter. Like, running above average temperature anomalies in January doesn't matter for the Rockies, because even if you're above average temperature anomalies in January, you're below freezing still. And sometimes you get more snow because that heat helps to actually help with a little bit more, evaporation. And some more storm formation. So not too bad. So will there be a flip? Let's take a look here. Let's take a look. In the short term, let's take a look at our jet stream, actually. Or we'll look at our 500 millibar height anomaly. Let's go to North America. In the short term, we're kind of seeing a overall zonal setup for most of the country, with some little troughs digging in here and there. Again, this is probably going to be a severe weather trough, not much of a snowmaker. At least that's what it looks like right now. There's too much warm air out ahead of it, out ahead of the system. So if we had cold air, a little bit cooler air out in front of the system, this would be almost nor'easter setup, but it's too much warm air out ahead of the system. Zonal flow, much of the country is above average there. The question is, this is such an aggressive look right here. Energy-wise, cold air-wise, do you actually get an eastern ridge that sets up? Because if you do, if you get a positive NAO, negative PNA, this could just bring tons of cold air and moisture into the west, into the mountains. Low elevation snow as well out west. Now, I think some of this is going to break off east. Just because I don't fully believe in this big southeastern, or this big kind of positive or negative PNA setup with kind of a torch out east. But it's extremely hard to tell because the globals just can't make up their mind on this setup. The one thing they both do see is this, and this is just a crazy amount of cold air that's getting ready to crash down into the States. I'm 60-40 east. I wouldn't be super surprised if a ridge locked in out east and all this cold air and all this this winter-like pattern settled in out west for the Rockies for a little bit going into January. But I can't lean that way just because of how the winter's been so far and how this is directionally setting up. Your European ensemble thinks we're going to get ridging up in Greenland and potentially pushing back towards a negative EPO. And again, to me, that suggests that there's a better chance that a lot of this cold pooling gets transferred out to the east as we approach the end of December again. And that's why I think we could get snow along the mid-Atlantic New England coast at the end of December again. How cold is green? Well, this isn't really cold or warm, but you typically do get the colder in the blues and the warmer in the reds. This is heights. So this is our pressure anomalies. Low pressures troughing come with colder air. But if you want to see like actually how cold this is, we go to our anomalies here. The pinks here are 30 to 40 degrees below average temperature. So this would be like negative 30, negative 40 degree air up here. And you can see it's on here. You can see how it's just starting to kind of, although we've seen this for a while, all of this cold air pooling, and eventually it's going to drop into the States and it's going to give someone potentially a moderately extended period of cold air and winter-like pattern. Yeah, all right, I'm Cowboy. Thanks, Yali. I know I missed it. Crystal, Adriana, I appreciate you. Not worried about snow, but I also think that it's way too early to get. Yeah, it's tough this early. I wonder what the European weekly control just does something absolutely insane. Let me show you guys something. The European weekly control throws crazy temperature anomalies into the States at the end of January. And like I said, if this were to happen at the end of January, this is like a crazy setup for snow in the South, because to get snow in the South, you need your coldest anomalies, the coldest time of the year. So, second half of January, first half of February. So now this is far out, but I do wonder. I do wonder why it's seeing that signal. And then you see this as well on the GFS. Very, very cold period towards pushing into the second half of January. So interesting. Too early to really jump on. It's beginning of January. I kind of think I know what's going to happen. End of January, I really don't. It's freezing in Houston. Yeah, that won't last long though, unfortunately. Snow in Minnesota on Wednesday. Let me actually get back in here. We could get some light snow. I mean, I don't know. If we do get snow, it's going to be flakes. I don't expect much of accumulation out of this. The GFS actually sees a little bit more potential for us than the Euro, but actually, no, the Euro 6Z is being pretty nice. It likely won't be much. Neutral Enzo, you think into January and February? No. No. We're still going to be in a weak La Nina, I think. What do you think? Here we are. This is our weak La Nina territory right here. Notice, I mean, we've kind of haven't moved at all. We have quite a ways to go up to get back into neutral at this point. We're down at like negative 1.2. 1.2 degrees Celsius below average. We got quite a ways to go up. We got to climb up to here to get into a neutral, and then we have to sit there for a period of 3 months before we transition into neutral. I mean, no. Maybe March if we start climbing right now. February, late February. I mean, we could get into neutral territory in February, early February, but that doesn't mean we're going to be in our weather's going to be representing that neutral quite yet. Yeah, it's been warm out west, Nate. Been very warm out west. Is Atlanta going to get snow? Again, you probably not in the immediate future. There's some very interesting looks in January. What's Charlotte looking like for New Year's? I mean, I could show you on the controls what it's looking like for New Year's, but I wouldn't. I mean, yeah, we can't even see the controls. I mean, I could like mess around and show you the European weekly for New Year's, but it's just that's just too far out. We need to wait a little bit longer. Here, let me do this. I mean, the Euro likes a lot of cold air out here. End of December into the beginning of January. So you can see here, this is end of December, beginning of January. Oops, sorry, you guys can't see that. Do I think temps in Dallas will be above average for Christmas? I do think so, yeah. I think the central and southern plains are going to struggle a little bit around Christmas time. There's a good chance we're going to have some more troughing digging into the east around Christmas time. The timing's going to be really important. Oh, baby. All right, guys, I got to get ready for work. This is going to be a busy week for me. That's why I didn't upload a video this morning. And to be honest, I'm really getting frustrated with what's been happening with the models in this time frame ahead just because of the uncertainty. I like model consensus. I do not like non-model consensus. And I have my ideas of what's going to happen. I think we're going to have a chance for a good push of snow to end December in the Mid-Atlantic and New England region again. I think we turn back into a very variable jet stream as we get into let me go back here. As we get into early January, I don't think the West is going to continue to bake. I think we're going to get a lot of cold air transfer into the West and into the East in the beginning of January. The model's like a very, very freezing second half of January for the East Coast. We'll see. It's a little bit too far out in that time frame. But inevitably, we're going to get a little bit of warmth over the next 7 to 10 days across the Central Plains and Southern Plains. Thursday, we're going to probably have a severe chance. Dixie Alley through Ohio Valley down into the southeast. Snow chances, don't see really any big snow for anyone over the next, I'll say 7 days, except for some of the mountains out here up in the northwest. We have an atmospheric river, tons of flooding issues, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Northern California. We need to watch. Tons of flooding issues up here over the next week. Something's going to trigger around December 24th or December 25th, and that could be when we get a collapse back of cold air into the east, and we get a system that drops snow before January starts again out east. That's at least where my head's at. The models don't want to agree on anything. So, you know, you can look at the GFS, the European, the Canadian. They're all going to tell you something different right now, and that's when you have to try to just use your brain and figure out what the most likely scenario is. Again, I'm watching the cold pooling up in the northwest and kind of what our jet stream's doing, and that's kind of what I think is ahead. Manders, what's going on? But sometimes I go and I look through the models and to work on one of my videos, and I just go, what the heck? There's nothing. None of them know it's going to happen. But over the next few days, we'll probably get a little bit of consensus. We will. They'll start to agree on Christmas inevitably as we get closer, and so that'll be good. Snow in Denver, probably going to be a little bit. You still got a little bit of ridging left out there. All right, everyone, have a fantastic day. I will be putting out a video tomorrow. I'll be live streaming. Hopefully, I'll be more awake than I am this morning. It's going to be a long week, but then finally into the holidays, I'll have some time off, so I'll be able to do a lot more streaming, probably twice a day sometimes, and be more consistent. So, everyone have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow in the live, potentially. Peace.